Alright, Freya. I'm talking about Sequoia RC3A's front. I got some feedback just about like the not the clipping, just the weirdness feelings I have about the front of Sequoia. I'll tell you why just quick. I have the clipping stuff on. I noticed a lot, and this is just kind of like a general tip, not just for you. I mean, I don't know if you know this. I mean, this is just like an opinion sort of thing, right? Like a perspective sort of thing. But I think this will be kind of helpful to other mappers. Let me just move the microphone visualizer off the left side of the screen so that's not distracting, because I see my voice bouncing up and down on the left in my peripheral. Okay, enough about that. I turn on clip brushes because when a map is like fully detailed, it's a little bit difficult to just see the routes because the detail ends up being a little bit distracting in a good way. In a good way. That's very good, you know, it just bewilders the mind and makes you feel like everything is more a complete experience. Of course you know that, but like when you have clip brushes on, you go, oh, okay, I see the routes a little bit easier. And it just helps put routes into perspective, I guess, when the map is fully detailed. It's not always useful, but at least in this case it is useful. Sorry, by the way, I might burp a couple of times. I guess I burp a lot when I have caffeine in the morning, and it is the morning and I've had caffeine. Okay, enough about me. So I have a little bit of weird feeling about the front of this map, and I'm sure you kind of have a little bit too. And I think my major feelings is that this area is difficult to defend, and it's also a little bit weird that everyone is funneled into the same doorway. Some good things about that. It's very unique. There's not a lot of MVM maps I can think of, and even of the ones that I think are really designed well, there's a lot of routes that pull players separately back from the front. And in this map, in contrast to that, having everybody go through the same doorway back, especially in this case defending the control point, which is over here, it makes it interesting because everybody, I don't want to say funneled, but everybody is kind of funneled together at least through the same area. And when everyone is in the same area, especially on Man vs. Machine, you really feel like you're part of a team. I guess that's just a general Team Fortress 2 sort of thing. Like, even in, like, Payload. Like, I always think, like, oh, the greatest example of teamwork in Team Fortress 2 is, like, Gold Rush, because everybody's being funneled through really small corridors with a payload cart, so your objective is just right there, and it just makes you feel like you're part of a team, because you're just, like, with all your whole team. And so on this, it makes it really interesting, because you just end up with your team a lot defending this front location, because you'd think that the best locations to put up, like, sentry guns would be here. See, there's a burp right there. And that is probably on normal. That's probably fine. But there's not enough ammo here, so a lot of people tend to defend or put like a dispenser here, sentry gun right here. Excuse me. And just defend over here, which is fine. That's cool. That's fine. It makes it like an advanced tactic. You know, it's not like super obvious where the best location to defend is. Maybe I just like spoiled it for the viewers. But yeah, I think it's interesting. But there's still a point of contention in my mind about the viability of the structure, if that makes sense. It just feels a little bit strange. I do want to mention that I kind of wish that there was like a small pack of ammunition here, especially in like advanced. It's a little bit difficult to keep moving away to those locations over there. In advanced, we'd end up having a dispenser right over here, so I do get lured to my team sometimes, but I kind of wish that there's like a small ammo pack over here, because in advanced, when there's snipers out, it would be a risk for me to jump over and grab a small ammo pack. But there are times, even in advance, where I'd be like a soldier. I think I played soldier on this map, mostly just soldier, but there were times when I only needed like a couple more shots, and then I felt like mentally in my mind I was going to go back to my team, but it wasn't like super safe to go over there. And so having like a small ammo pack here, I feel it would be just, you know, kind of nice. You don't have to do that though. I don't think it's like totally necessary, but you know, It'd be kind of nice just to have something up here where I have to kind of take a risk by going out into the open with the snipers and everybody who are shooting like crit rockets and stuff. You know, it's just something kind of decision based. You don't have to do that, and especially like for MVM. It's kind of weird that there's not a lot of small ammo packs on MVM, or like any. So here's an alternative suggestion. Potentially alternative, it's like an and/or thing. I wonder, especially for advanced waves, and then the beginning of advanced waves, mostly just the beginning because people are defending here at the beginning of waves. The idea that a lot of bosses, or just like the focuses at certain parts in the waves, when they spawn, let's say on this side, they would tend to walk up and then around the tree with like Navivoids, like you have Navivoids here, so they end up walking around the tree. At the moment, it seems probably like only support go around the tree, like spies and snipers, and then 90% of the robots end up walking through here. And I've noticed that when I'm defending from on the left here, I really start to feel like I'm being split up from my team because there's just like 90% of the robots coming in between us. And then I end up like reloading my gun, right? And I'm like just kind of looking around and reloading my gun. And by the next time I look, there's like a huge like centipede crawling mass of robots swarming through here. And I really start to feel like it's way too dangerous for me to go back to my team. And in that sense, it's kind of cool because in advanced, it's kind of nice to feel like there's a whole bunch of action going on, but it kind of feels annoying, and it really kind of hinders that feeling of separation from my team, and also influences that feeling of this whole front, the structure of defenses, like these ramps and stuff, feel a bit meaningless to hold. So I feel like if, let's say, 20, 30%, 40% of the robots, maybe even half the robots, or at least the bosses, like the big guys, like it kind of makes sense if like a really big, super big guy, or maybe not all the super big guys, maybe you could do like tags on the robots and have like a couple of like heavy bots or something. Like I can imagine a giant heavy or something. I don't know if you have giant heavies in your waves at the beginning ever, but I feel like you can have one or two bosses, maybe even like robots that aren't the super big guys. I don't know. I feel like this would be a pretty good ambush spot for the bosses with the medics, but maybe the bosses that don't have medics or just like other commonplace robots could more often use this route, so that when I'm defending over here and I see a whole bunch of robots taking the back route, I have to kind of follow them, and naturally I get led back towards my team over here, and it's safer for me to do that because there's less bots standing in between me and my team. I feel like having more robots take the back path would just make this route feel safer, not only to defend here a little bit longer, but also to to end up back at my team just kind of naturally. And then that too, you don't have to add in like another route in between here and here, which would be really hard with all the detail involved, and you'd have to like destroy your optimization and just figure out and redo, like, oh, I'll just delete this whole section of my map. You don't have to do any of that. You'd be able to keep the whole one route, which like funnels players. And it was kind of weird too, right? Because like I was looking at it initially, I'm like, she's really funneling in the players, and I kind of felt like I was being like toyed with, which sorry, burping again. Feels a little bit weird, but you know, weighing in my mind the pros and the cons. Like the cons is I feel like I'm being toyed with. Pros is it's really a unique experience, and I feel like I'm playing with my team a lot more, and it gets really hectic and advanced, which is interesting. So I feel like it balances out, like especially in the favor of the pros. Whoa, that was weird. Can we do that again? Nice. Okay. Anyway, that's all the feedback I have. Thanks for watching.